Have you ever felt you don't know / have forgotten who you really are? That you've spent years just adapting to surroundings to make life easier and don't know what's the real you anymore? If so, how did you overcome this? I don't have an answer, but dang, this question really resonates with me and I never even considered it before. I think this is called having an existential crisis. Drop LSD and reconnect with yourself. As someone who is transgender, that basically describes most of my life. I can really relate to this question. I've gone through some shit in life and had to go on autopilot with routines and whatnot for years. At the end of it, I questioned my actions and who I was and became. The best advice is to literally submit and stop trying to fight yourself and how you think of yourself. You've got yourself into this shit, so if you knew any better it would have happened already. Just submit, then accept that only you can make a choice to change. Then you make a choice to seek help from someone outside of yourself to confide in. Unburden your trapped mindset and let it out and be brave and honest. This needs to be someone you trust. Then finally, make a decision. Now that you've surrendered and accepted yourself the way you've gotten yourself, and you've unburdened your mind of self-deprecating thoughts, make a choice to learn new patterns and habits. Start small and grow them into who you wish to become. Understand that these are monuments you've built in your head for your habits and who you think you are in your head. You need to take the time to unlearn so you can grow. I like to put in some music I listened to when I was a teen. Something that used to make me feel for who I was and the things I had been through. That brings back a piece of who I am for me. It's good therapy. I spent a grand total of 28 years with my ex, 24 married, and the crux of our relationship was for me to be small so that he could be big. His needs were most important. Financially, socially, sexually. Mine? I nodded and agreed that was the way to go. Little jabs over my appearance, capabilities and intelligence over almost 30 years had me believing him. I saw myself through his eyes. I was his cheerleader, his fixer, his rock. And then he left. Totally destroyed me. What could I be without him? Who the actual fuck was I, a woman in her late 40s with no education? And then I took my kids to a concert and it hit me with an almost physical force. I used to love going to concerts. I used to love live music, hell, I used to love music period. All genres. But my ex didn't like concerts. He had no favorite bands or genres. I didn't lose myself so much as I gave myself away. So, 3 years later I am rediscovering who I was so long ago and who I want to be now. Never give yourself away, folks. Never let someone belittle you and call it joking. Be true to who you were before anything or anyone. No one is going to read this, but I just need an outlet, so just trying to write this. I think I have forgotten what I want from life. I don't know if I will ever be happy or in peace with myself. Everything seems so superficial, but then I think that death will be the end to this misery, but I am too afraid to die, and the feeling that we don't know what's there after death scares the hell out of me. I am like a candle which has lost all hope of burning but doesn't know what other is there to life than burning. You recognize that there is no real you, that the self is constructed in the mind of others. So, Buddhism. There's a quote from Night Vale that really helped me with this. We will never be the same again. But here's a little secret for you. No one is ever the same thing again after anything. You are never the same twice, and much of your unhappiness comes from trying to pretend that you are. Accept that you are different each day, and do so joyfully, recognizing it for the gift it is. Work within the desires and goals of the person you are currently, until you aren't that person anymore, and everything changes once again. I am feeling something very similar right now. Everything I've done in my life so far has been to please others, and I'm overwhelmed by even the smallest decisions that I have to make for myself. Somehow it never occurred to me that I should be the authority in my own life, not other people or social conventions. I'm getting used to it, but it is strange to detach yourself from that after needing it for so long. I feel weird now, but I know with practice things will get easier. I've always been sort of a late bloomer, so here I am, at 27, starting fresh. You got this, thumbs up. Allow me to introduce the concept of stories. As people, we associate things that happen with the meaning that we assign them. Especially as we get older, this collapsing of two separate things happens almost instantly. So fast that we no longer even see them as separate. Stories are persistent and detract from the authenticity of your life. Lately you have gotten so advanced with your stories that you have generated one from almost nothing, that your everyday adaptations, what happens, equals you having lost a fundamental part of yourself, the meaning you took from it. This story has no universal truth to it, yet it is one you subject yourself to. Only you, however, can choose whether you will empower yourself with new meaning or succumb to the meanings that disempower you. I was homeless for over 6 years. It kinda destroys the person you were when it began. I don't do any of the things that I used to enjoy. I have lived in an apartment for 3 years since then. I wake up every day thinking I will be homeless sometime that day. I have almost nothing in my apartment because I won't know what to do with it when I become homeless again. I've adapted to my surroundings to hide people from the real me, and I have no clue how to stop. Fuck, I just cried from reading this title. I'm concerned that nobody has mentioned that dissociation can manifest in feelings like this. Not feeling like you know who you are, becoming detached from sense of identity and a lack of connection to your surroundings. And #X200B. By no means am I a doctor, but grounding techniques can help if you're feeling this way. Such as, do something that causes physical sensations like holding an ice cube, touching something soft, or washing your face. Say facts out loud, such as my name is _I am _years old and live in _. Listen to familiar music that makes you comfortable, or turn on a movie you've seen often. Light incense or a candle and focus on the smell. Point out and focus on certain items in your immediate area. I'm pretty late to this and it may get buried, but if you're experiencing any level of dissociation, hopeful this can help. It's amazing that almost 35,000 random people came here to partake in, observe, and learn from the community therapy sesh that's happening in this thread. I love the internet. Carl Jung is a good reference for this. He talks about how the shadow needs to be integrated into our consciousness. Check him out if you feel this way, it may shed some light. 46 and 2x2 also brings up the shadow. Even if you are not a Tool fan, just look up the lyrics. Take solace in the fact you are not the same person you were in the past. We must continue to grow and change. To remain stagnant is to accept death. Rage against the dying of the light. Treading water is like drowning. This is me. So I was born in Nigeria and came to Canada in 2011 when I was 11. I had a beautiful African accent and was made fun of for in middle school, and no one would talk to me because according to them they didn't understand me, so I started changing the way I spoke, and in addition to living here for 7 years I have a new way of speaking. It's more Canadian I guess, but I had a huge identity crisis when I was in high school and at the end of middle school, and started admitting to myself that I had become another person. Also, I'm a black woman and grew up being told by my mom that I had to work 10 times harder than white people so get what I wanted, and everyone who wasn't black was out to get me, so I developed a lot of anxiety. Plus with the way black women are represented in the media, I didn't want to look ghetto. I've been taught a lot when it comes to self-esteem, but I'm doing way better now. I started listening to Nigerian music a lot again last year, and I'm planning on learning my native language. I guess the older I got, the more aware I became, and cultivating a relationship with God is really helping too. I live in that feeling constantly. I'm still trying to figure out my gender identity, and I have already come out to my friends and family as transmasculine. But as soon as people started treating me as a full-on boy, because toxic masculinity and crap, I started questioning. I'm currently trying to figure out the difference between gender identity and gender expression, and I'm honestly just in a constant battle with myself. My sis just taught me about a mental exercise to help you figure out what makes you you at the core. Imagine that you were born to a different set of parents, in a different location, family, and had different life experiences. What parts of you would still be the same? This is your core self. We all have a core but have to put on layers as we get older and go through life's challenges. For me, I have always been playful, curious as hell, mischievous, persuasive, imaginative, and a dreamer. My parents said that's just how I came out, and when I do things to feed these core parts of me as an adult, that's when I experience real joy in life.